ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jack Henderson.
My niche is property and wealth creation. The story is got kicked out of school at 15, got into construction as a labourer, and I was like, I don't want to do this for my whole life, that's for sure. My personal Instagram over the last 30 days, like 11 million views. 11 million fuckers in Australia. I've seen my mum. And I get recognised in public, but I've never had someone ever come up to me like, you're a fuckwit.
We went, okay, road to $1 million. If we can do $1 million GP in year one, that'd be incredible. It seems that you're doing that in profit every single month for
Net
5 years.
Too, not GP, yeah.
Necker Island with old Richie Branson.
Yeah, Dickie Branson.
Old Dickie Branson.
So it was probably underwhelming, to be honest. The less authentic you are and the more you try and fit in with everyone else, the less and less money you make. Businesses, I mean, most shit is really simple. That's why most people have a fucking shit life. They try and like talk themselves out of doing everything or think there's a hack or a shortcut. So like the hack is do the work every day, non-stop for a long time, and maybe you'll get the rewards.
Welcome back to another episode of Two Blokes, One Business with Paulie and Harv. And today it's going to be full of fireworks for you.
Yeah, this is quite a cool moment for us. I think it was about a year ago, ads started sending me this fella's content on Instagram. We're looking to get into a bit of property, and I'm like, who is this absolute loose cannon?
This geezer.
This absolute loose cannon just ripping people out on Insta. And then now a year later, he's sat on our podcast. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jack Henderson.
Thanks for having me, lads. Good to be here. Couple of pommies on the couch, eh?
Here we go, where you want to be. Mate, so for people who don't know and don't follow you on Instagram, if that exists,
Yeah.
who are you, mate?
There's a fucking heap of people that don't know who I am, I can assure you.
They're missing out.
Yeah. Who are you? What's the mission?
Who am I? Mate, I'm just a young battler from Western Sydney who's giving life a crack. No, but obviously my niche is property and wealth creation. The story is got kicked out of school at 15, got into construction as a labourer, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to do this for my whole life, that's for sure. You know, being around a bunch of 40, 50, 60-year-olds who fucking hate their life and their profession is construction and whinging. So I'm like, that's not going to be me. Had incredible parents who instilled, a pretty strong work ethic in me. And once I saved my first deposit, which I did from 15 to 18, got into property, and yeah, it's sort of grown from there. It was first just and investing was a passion to become rich. And then I was like, fuck, I could create a business out of this. And then the business started to grow, and here we are, talking about it on a lounge with a couple of blokes.
Full circle.
Take us through those early days then, right? Because you're a construction worker, you've saved up deposits, you've started buying property and gone, okay, I want to make this into a business. Were there people that had done that sort of thing before, or was this a completely new concept?
So I had a mentor, his name was Chris Gray, who I just found on YouTube. As most people, you're researching. You guys said you listen to podcasts. That's what I used to do, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, just try and get all the education I possibly could. Found a guy that I really resonated with in Chris. And then I didn't really understand what he did. I just knew that he was super rich from property and he fucking had a Lambo on a yacht on the harbour. And I was like, fuck yeah,
I'll take some of that, yeah.
I'll have some of that, thanks. And then I started to go to his seminars and there's a whole story around fucking how I got more connected with him, which we can talk about another day. But essentially his business was a buyer's agency. So he used to help people get rich through property. And I used his service, funnily enough, for my second property. So that's how I sort of knew the industry existed. But I thought, well, I can't help people go and build portfolios unless I've been able to do it myself. And I always wanted to get a job with him, and he would never give me a job because we're still good friends now, but he knew me when I was 19, 20 years old, just this fucking young loose guy.
I was about to say, is that because you met him?
Yeah, like every time he used to see me, I'd be fucking absolutely cockeyed at some event, So he was always like, mate, you are too much of a liability to come and work for me. So he would never give me a job. Funnily enough, we're going for lunch on Thursday, and the lunch, we're going to Woolloomooloo Wharf in Sydney, which is where I bought a lunch or bought an hour of his time to go and have lunch with him for $1,500 many, many years ago. And we're just chewing the fat the other day. And I said, mate, how about I fucking take you for lunch now, eh? We'll do a full circle moment. But that's how I found out about the industry. And then you guys know Ben Handler, the Buyers Agent Institute, which I was one of the first ever students of that course or program back in, fucking would have been like 2017, 2018, I would say, when I was still in mining and construction. And sort of I did the course. I joined Ben's mastermind while I was still in mining and construction. So I was like around all these cats who were growing, big or fast businesses. And then I thought, fuck, I got to do this myself now. So jumped into the industry when I was end of 2019, I think it was, start of 2020. Yeah.
Why did you decide to do on the buyer side rather than just your typical real estate? I'll just go and work for a Ray White and sell property.
Oh, well, because I think like the part that I love most about it is the advisory piece, like, showing people what's actually possible. It's hard for people to contextualize that, not too long ago, I was just a normal fucking everyday guy who went to work every day and worked for a construction company, so now being able to show and tell people how I've done it. A lot of people just think it's bullshit, it's like, oh, fuck, this guy had rich parents or whatever the fuck, but it's like, I fucking, I know my story, like 7 years ago, I was fucking on a shovel, brother.
Done the hard yards.
So, I love the advisory piece. And now I'm, probably more obsessed with business than I am with property. But property allowed me to build the business. So,
I love it. One thing that obviously struck me when I first saw your content was the authenticity and kind of unapologetic being just yourself and Jack, and even, first 5 minutes of this podcast, I think that's shining through.
Yeah.
Were you always like that when you started your business? Because I know when we were in corporate, right, recruiting for Hayes, it was just this big faceless brand and you just had to kind of fit in this little box. And we started Harwell and it was like, fuck, all of a sudden we've got this free reign to do what we want and be a bit more authentic. But I remember those first few times of really being ourselves. You're like, oh, is this right?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I've always been very authentic throughout my whole life, not just when I was in business. But being authentic when you're young and in school used to get me in a lot of trouble, hence the reason I got kicked out. Like, I've always been the larrikin. I've always fucking just said shit that you probably shouldn't say. And, the issue is, as you're in an environment that, has a sort of you need to be a certain type of person. You're in that environment. You can't be as authentic as you want to be, right? In school, you have to conform to the way that they want you to learn and the way that they want you to be. And when you work for another organization, it's the same thing, right? You can't really just be who you want to be and say what you want to say because you work for someone else. And that's how it should be. Like, you shouldn't be able to just do whatever the fuck you want to do when you're working for someone else. But then as I started to get out on my own, being authentic makes you more money. So I'm like, fucking, let's go, boys. The less authentic you are and the more you try and fit in with everyone else, like the less and less money you make, the slower your business grows. And the more authentic you are to yourself, generally the more people who resonate with you, and the more money you make. So it encourages it. We're in the real world, authenticity is encouraged, right? It comes with its pros and its cons, obviously. But you also find, like, and I'm still fucking, sounds a bit woo-woo finding myself.
Don't worry, I just going down that journey.
But we're all like, trying to work out who we are and what we're fucking doing and what's right and what's wrong. And, you have certain beliefs that you might have 2 years ago and you don't have the same beliefs now. And you're like, oh, fuck, so all the stuff that I said and thought back then wasn't really true, But it's just like that constant journey of working out what's right, what's wrong, who you are, and being more of that person, which is what I do daily.
When you started the business, was it to get to the Jack Henderson of today, or was it just to make a bit of money, help a few people, and live a pretty decent life?
Oh, fuck, I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted it to be. I wanted to go do something that wasn't mining and construction. And then, I had goals and all the rest of it, but it wasn't like I didn't have this big grandiose idea of like, I'm going to fucking build a business, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. It was like the first goal is like, get out of getting paid to go to work every week and go and work for yourself. Like, that's goal number one. You do that, then you work out, oh, there's other things that I can do. And then you start getting surrounded by people that have a lot more money and a lot more success and a lot bigger businesses. And that opens your eyes up to what else is possible. And then your goals sort of start forming around that stuff. So I'm much more calculated with what I do now. And I'm much more regimented in how I think about things. But yeah, definitely always wasn't like that. It's like, and even now it's scrappy as, like you fucking have goals at the start of the year and that sort of forms how your year unfolds. But there's lots of shit that you don't think about or shit that happens. And you just fucking run with it and try and catch everything on the way down. And, you drop a few things here and there, but that's life. It's not like you have this fucking, it's always easier talking about things in hindsight.
For sure.
Steve Jobs said that best. It's like, it's always easier to join the dots when you're looking back at them as opposed to when you're fucking in the moment trying to work out which decision's right and which decision is wrong. so talking about it, going, oh yeah, I did this, I did that, this happened, that happened, and all of a sudden now look at me. It's like, it's not fucking like that. It's like, you don't know what the fuck's going on. You just work it out on the fly.
And hope it falls into place. So.
Yeah, that's right. And I guess you do more and more actions that give you a higher probability of things falling into place. But the reality is you still don't know. Like, our business is fucking a pretty substantial business now, but it's still very small in comparison to what I want it to be. But it's huge in comparison to what it started as. But even today, you're like, fuck, few wrong moves, mate. I'm a few decisions away from lining up for a dole check, you know?
I say that to ads all the time. I'm like, because we try and talk about the success we've had on this podcast and hope that it inspires a few others.
Yeah.
But the whole time I'm like, mate, we're a few bad months away from being
It's the
back to
reality
the
of
start.
everyone, bro. Like, fuck, shit happens. So you just got to keep pushing. And I think it's like the mentality is the most important thing, like not succumbing to all the external noise and pressures and just going, fuck you and fuck that, and just keep pushing forward, which is what I do every day.
I think that's why the circle is so important. You mentioned that earlier. Is when we started this business, our world was this big, right? A small circle. And we thought, we're probably big hitters now. We've got a business. And then you kind of get into that world and you meet people who have got businesses 10 times bigger. And then you might get a little bit further along. And again, it just gets bigger and bigger, which keeps you feeling like, fuck, I'm just getting started here. There's no way I can.
Every level, there's another devil, they say, huh?
I like that.
Both personally and professionally. I just joined an organization called YPO, Young Presidents Organization, which is like, where all the fucking big dogs hang out. And I've just scrapped in this year to be able to get into it. Like tonight we got dinner with Stephen Marks, fucking the founder of Guzmani Gomez. And it's like, sitting there with 120 employees and actually just sold his business for $3 billion, I was like, fuck me dead. Or they call it IPO.
I hope he showed it.
Yeah. So there's so many levels, but it's awesome to be able to learn from those people because all those people started off just as, you and I started. So
the cool thing I've found is sitting down on this podcast, speaking to some super successful people, is they never went out with that intention of being the biggest buyer's agent institute, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
They've all just gone, right, I just want to work for myself. And then they nail that. And it's just that kind of small steps along the way. And I love the post you did yesterday on LinkedIn, I think it was, about your growth. And I'm keen to dig into it. And we were the same. Like when we first year of Harwell, we went, okay, road to $1 million. If we can do $1 million GP in year one, that would be incredible. And it sounded like that was a similar kind of figure to what you did in your year.
Yeah.
And now it seems that you're doing that in profit every single month.
Yeah.
Over
net
5
profit
years.
too, not GP. Yeah. So
wowzers.
Again, but it doesn't feel any different. Like it is what it is. But you do $1 million of net profit, and it's not like that $1 million doesn't hit the bank every fucking month. It's like because then you're fucking hiring more people, you're spending more on ads, you're trialing more things that cost more money that don't work. But your life feels no different. It's just like, it's the same shit. Sure, I don't have to worry about whether I can pay my fucking electricity bill, or I might live in a slightly nicer property now than I lived in, 5 years ago. But like, whether you live in a 1-bedroom apartment in Coogee, 200 meters from the beach, or live in a fucking 3-bedroom, $15 million house with views of Bronte, like, it's the same fucking shit. Legit. Like, you still go to the same beach, you still drink the same coffee, you still, everything's the same. I drive a nicer car. But like all that stuff doesn't actually materially change your life all that much. But the thing that I've, had to sort of wrangle with earning more money is like, and I've been thinking about this a lot recently, is like when you're young, you're all, as a male, I don't know, maybe I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks like this.
Like the only male here.
You always want the fucking girls and the cars and like all this shit that you aspire when you're a kid, right? And it's generally the stuff you'd go without when you're younger, and the other stuff you want. But then when you start to make lots and lots of money, and when you were say 18 years old on a night out, generally your night was constrained from your financial capacity. You're like, oh fuck, should I go buy that extra thing? Or no, I can't afford to buy it. When you don't have constraints with like that sort of shit, then like it can unravel really quickly. So like one of the things that I had a coach many years ago, he's not my coach anymore, but he grew a business 0 to 50 million. And didn't control his habits, and blew that business up. And he was my coach, and but big teaching from him was like, if you don't want to go on the same trajectory as I did, you've got to like control these things when you don't have a lot, because when you start to get more, they can get out of hand, and like it doesn't like we said, you're only a few months away from fucking failure. So I think that's one of the most challenging things when you start to make money. It's like the business part is hard, but it's also the personal element of like, I can fucking jump on a plane tomorrow and go overseas and party, and I can really do whatever the fuck I want for a period of time until obviously the business starts to suffer. And they're the hard things to control is that personal, you know.
How have you gone on that journey then? Because you say now you're still finding yourselves.
It's constant, man. It's constant. Like,
yeah, you were honest that you used to be a loose cannon.
I still am.
Yeah.
I just have to control it. You know? Like, that's the reality.
That's
it's like, it doesn't go away. Well, that's the thing. That's why I do that type of shit now. Because it's like, you go run 200 miles, it's months and months and months of training. You can't go and get on the piss and the fucking party and all the rest of it because you do that and it's going to affect, you know, the runs. Or like, it's sort of, you're controlled in an element, right? You still got to stay disciplined, but it controls you. Yeah, but man, I still have blowouts now. And like I just said, the blowouts now are not, you know, $1 and $2 grand on a night out. Yeah. Like, they're fucking astronomical. Like, that's the truth. Yeah. That's the truth. And like, when you have capacity to do shit, you know, it's like the guy who says, I'd never cheat on my wife because he's a fat, ugly pig and he's never been hit on by a 10 out of 10. Of course you're not going to cheat on your wife because you fucking never get hit on by a 10 out of 10. Get hit on by a 10 out of 10 and tell me how you go. You know what I mean? Like, that's the mentality. Very easy to say, oh, I don't know how people are drug addicts and all this shit when you fucking don't have any money or the capacity to go and do that stuff. But if someone goes and plants cash in your fucking bank account and says, go and do whatever you want, much harder then. Yeah. And I know a lot of people who have made a lot of money and sold businesses, all the rest of it. And that's one of the biggest things they struggle with. It's like you lose your meaning and you're like, oh, it's Tuesday and I can do whatever the fuck I want, you know? And you start to sort of lose your way. And and
particularly if you we're all from a working class background. So money was the thing we necessarily didn't have available as a kid. So you said there, then if that's there and that's solved for you, you haven't necessarily grown up with that level of abundance where you could, if you're a rich kid, I want a PlayStation, mum, fuck, I want two. Sweet, you've got 2 PlayStations. So who teaches you that unless you've got the right
self-taught, man. Like, at the end of the day, you can listen to all the shit that you can listen to and you can get all the advice that you want. But at the end of the day, you got to take the advice on and you're the one who's got to do the actions. But it's self-taught. It's like making mistakes and man, I probably won't do that again. Yeah. That hurt. You know?
What's been the biggest blowout then along the journey, mate? Come on, let's have it.
Here we go.
I've had some six-figure nights. Yeah.
It's outrageous.
Big blowouts in Europe and stuff like that. But like, mate, it's easy to do. It's like no different to spending 10 grand when you fucking earn whatever it is, or $1,000 when you. It's like, that's what I mean. That shit just exacerbates. And that's the stuff that you got to control because that will that affects business growth. You know, like dramatically. It's it's generally your personal stuff that then flows into your business. It's not working as hard as you once did because you don't have to. It's, you know, going, I've got staff to do that for me now. I don't have to do that. It's not caring about your clients as much. It's going on fucking 3 or 4 or 5 holidays a year because you don't have to. And then all of a sudden your business goes from going fucking gangbusters in the northern direction to slowly going south and then trying to get momentum back. It's very fucking hard.
There's a big thing about becoming the person who you are today. So the Jack Henderson today, 10 years ago when you started the business or 5 years ago, would that person be able to run the company the size that now? Have you had to go on your own journey to become the person to grow the company to get where it is?
It's like not possible. Not possible to, I couldn't run the business I run now with who I was when I started. You need to become a better leader. You need to hire people and fuck it up. And you need to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. If you don't learn from them, your business will stay at that level. You know, and the thing that's holding me back now from being a $100 million business is not because I don't have the skill set to do it. It's because I haven't learned the lessons I need to learn to be able to get the skill set to do it, right? Like, you stay on the journey long enough and you'll eventually get there if you learn the lessons. So, man, I think that's the journey everyone goes on. Like,
has that impacted the circle around you? Because I think you did a post about it of as you go through those phases of change, the people around you ultimately do change, and you probably have to leave some people that at one point in life were serving you, you know, if it might have been going out every weekend and having a good time, but all of a sudden they don't serve you anymore. How do you go through that mindset shift of leaving them behind?
I think it just happens naturally. Like, the more that you chase something or you go in one direction, like, the less and less time you spend with the people that you used to spend time with, whether it's right or wrong. Like, trust me, I love hanging out with the guys that I grew up with. Fuck, it's like a blast. You talk about old times. It's like, I feel like the thing I love about that is I feel like a kid again. Yeah. Because when you get into business, like, you're not a kid. You're not treated like a kid. You don't ever think like a kid. It's not playful. It's fucking like constant, relentless pressure. So it's nice sometimes to like not have to fucking be an adult and just be a kid. You know, because you're like, fuck, you're under 30, I'm under 30. We're still kids at the end of the day. But it just naturally happens because like your life starts to revolve around your business. Your relationships then become relationships that are more aligned with business. Fuck, I spend more time with my staff than I spend with anyone else in my life. And then even my close friends who are generally other business owners, you don't talk to them every day because they're fucking busy running their business, right? But like, you can talk to them if you want. And it's just sort of a different style of relationship, where before, a relationship with friends was like doing dinners and going out to the pub and fucking going on, you know, I don't really do anything. I just work and I spend time with my staff and that's it. Like that's really all I do now. And I don't get invited to many things like I used to because I'm not around anymore.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I had a couple of kids. So second one's more recent, but I had a kid, and
Congrats.
it's like all of a sudden your life changes, right? I'm like, okay, partner was at home, pregnant, and I'm still out bendering every weekend. And you get home and she's like in tears and she goes, I'm not doing this on my own. So you're like, okay, I've got to change. But it's that hard mindset shift of by changing, there's so many people that you do lose along the way. I had that through becoming a parent. So it was through choice, but also I had to make that change. So there was never any doubt along the way. But in your shoes, losing those people through your own decisions through business, was there ever a time where you like thought, fuck, is this the right thing to do?
Not really, man. Like, fuck, at the end of the day, like, it's our own life. So you've got to make the choice and fucking go with it. And at the end of the day, no one really gives a fuck about you. Like, that's my personal belief. It's like, people give a fuck about you to an extent while it serves them. No one cares about themselves more than themselves. So, you know, that sounds a little bit selfish, and whether people agree with it or not, I don't really give a fuck. But like, I think that's the reality of most people. Like, everyone cares about you until their life becomes more important. And then it's like, oh yeah, I don't really care about you as much as I thought I was, you know? So yeah, I just think you need to do what's right for your own life. And if people want to be on that journey, they will be. And if they don't, then so be it.
There you go. Yeah. In terms of the business that you've built now and culture I want to talk about here, does the business reflect you? The way you are as a person, is the business very similar? Like if we walked into Henderson HQ, would I go, fuck, there's a lot of, not mini jacks around here, but a very similar traits.
The energy is very much me. Yeah. Very much
Was
so.
it always the case or no?
It takes time, you know, like the first probably 2 years of the business, I would just hire people fucking for the sake of hiring people. And like, they weren't cultural aligned. We had zero in common. And I was just putting bums on seats because that's what I thought you did when you grow up, is you just fucking load people onto the boat and hopefully, you know, it grows.
It's flattering, right? Because people want to work for you.
That's right. But it's like, it's not the reality. We're now, you know, like I said, the team's like 100, 120 across the group. And I don't even need to make the decision now if they're not a culture fit. The team makes the decision. They're like, oh, this guy's fucked. And then, you know, he's no longer there. But yeah, it's very much like, we're all very, very hardworking. We do long hours. It's high energy. It's not politically correct. It's the opposite of that. And you know, we'll do whatever we need to do to be able to get where we want to go. And we have a lot of fun, you know, which is very much me. So
yeah. And it must tie back to your authenticity, right? Because we've been on that journey where we hired a couple of people, probably wasn't the right environment for them, and probably left us questioning ourselves a little bit, because we're ex-pro soccer players from England, right? So we try and build this environment like a professional sports environment and a changing room.
Yeah.
And there are things on a day-to-day basis in a sports changing room that are below the belt. And we had a couple of people come in, didn't work out, and we were questioning like, fuck, is it us? And it's like staying true to that, because you then find your right people.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, no, it's not us. Some people do like that.
And then they attract more of the right people as well. Like if you have a company that's not reflective of you and what you desire and value, then you're just going to attract more people that are not like you. So we hired a HR manager fucking last year. Lovely, lovely lady, the opposite of me. And I was like, sweet, you know, I've got people in the business that are smarter than I am. Let's try this out. And what we found is she hired people that were like her, that are not like me. None of those people, including her, work in the organization anymore. And then it wasn't that it was wrong. It was just like, it just wasn't right for our organization. So like putting someone in a key role like that, who was in charge of, you know, internal recruitment, and obviously looking after the current staff, like that was a very, very important role, because they went out to the marketplace, essentially, you know, it'd be no different for recruitment, right? They're bringing people to our organization that they thought were the right people because they were similar to them, but that person wasn't similar to us and our values. And it's like, it fucking takes time to undo that shit, you know? Like you can't just fucking sack people in Australia, especially if they're out of probation, you know? It's like it's a journey. So, that's the example of a bad hire, is like they just bring more and more bad people, and you don't realize straight away. Obviously, everyone interviews incredibly well the first fucking month of their employment. They're superstars. And then all of a sudden you start to see the cracks. Yeah, so that was something I had to fix.
Have you changed your hiring process now? Because I know Stephen Bartlett, for example, he says his only job is hiring and he meets every hire personally himself.
Yeah, so I attract a lot of the talent, like through social presence. And there's still a lot of people who apply, don't know who the fuck we are, which is cool. I don't interview. I don't do the first interviews. Again, we've got my general manager and we've got internal people and culture who do that. But then every single person comes in for a trial day, a paid trial day. So we can see how they work, how they, interact with the other staff members. Then I obviously get to meet them. And then from there we make our hiring decision. So yeah, we do trial days for every single person, regardless if you're a fucking outbound caller or you're a buyer's agent or you're fucking, a chippy or something like that. Because obviously we've got the building company as well. It's trial. Trial first. See if you work. If you don't want to trial, then you don't work for us. But it's good. It's good to see people in the working environment. How do they react to the other people? If you sit with the fucking salesperson, you go, all right, mate, you understand it? Yeah, you want to make some calls? Nah, not today. It's like, well, fucking.
It's not for us, yeah.
That sort of stuff. You start to pick up on behavioral things. Even the things like how they dress. It's so funny. That's the funniest thing in our organization. Everyone thinks like real estate must wear a suit. So, bro, the first fucking day someone comes to our office, they're like suited and booted. Yeah. Like, dude, this is me dressed up. Like, usually I'm in I'll just go to work in what I trained in from before work. And then within a week or two, mate, they're fucking, the suit's gone. They're dressing casually, how I dress now. It's so funny though, because people have this perception of real estate and property. It's all like flash and that's how I was when I started in the industry, but it's definitely not how we are now.
Definitely an evolution you go through, I think, isn't it, in business, where you start there. And we were the same, rocked up first day, suit, blazer, and then maybe take the tie off, and maybe take the blazer off. Yeah. And then now, we used to, luckily we wear pants in the office, we wear shorts all the time. We thought maybe we'll put these on for podcasts. I want to talk about time, because as the business grows, right, your time doesn't. You've still got 50, 60, 70 hours a week, whatever you're working. Yeah. How do you now allocate your time, and where do you find your time generates the most ROI throughout the week?
That's my biggest head fuck at the moment, right? Because it's hard to know where your time is best spent. Like obviously branding and marketing for me is probably the best use of my time, the most high leverage. You do something like this, we get some clips off it, and 20 clips might be fucking 2 million views, for example. Yeah. That's a pretty good use of my time. Just before I got in here, I was on my leadership meeting for the week. So we had the heads of all the divisions on there. I was getting a well-rounded understanding of where the constraints are in the business so they can go and execute. And then it's spending some time with our staff. I'm in Brisbane and the Gold Coast to spend time with staff. I'm up here, dinner with them yesterday, breakfast, trained with some of the guys, showing face and showing people that you care. And then I still do a lot of client work, not day to day, but a lot of clients want me to my input on shit or, I don't know. It's constantly evolving, and I'm constantly learning. I haven't worked that out yet. And again, it's that scrappy. You're this week I'm doing this, and I'm doing a lot more of this, and then this week I'm doing this thing. Some weeks I fucking don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I feel lost. It's open space in my calendar is scary to me. I'm so used to my calendar being stacked. Yeah. But now we've got so many people that are self-sufficient, and I've got people running, each division inside of the organization. I have more free time. So I get lost in that free time.
Yeah, when that first happened, do you kind of just sit back and go what do I do now?
I still do that now. I wake up in the morning and I'll have my 8 a.m. team huddle with the team, and then I'll be like, all right.
You feel lazy?
What's next? Yeah, I do. Because but free time is good. It allows creativity, allows you to have free space. But it's hard to get used to, especially from when you start a business. You do everything, right? You'll fucking do a sales call in the morning, then you'll go into a recruitment call, and then all of a sudden you go meet with a business fucking development person that you're trying to get some referrals off, and then you got to do some client work, and you're constantly so busy. And as you slowly start to scale that stuff back and you have more free space, that's the hardest thing to work through.
You live off that adrenaline, don't you? That I'm so needed here. I'm so in demand. I can do this for you and do that for you.
Yeah. And so then you question, okay, well now I have time. Where do I put it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that I struggle with is where do I put my time now?
That was my validation, I think, a lot. It's just being a busy idiot.
Yeah.
And now it's you start building a team and a structure around you, and you're just sat there going, okay, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I think Dan Martell talks about it really well. He's like, entrepreneurs are all addicted to just chaos.
Being busy.
Yeah, fucking love chaos.
Have you read that one, The Buy Back Your Time?
I haven't read it. I know Dan Martell though, no.
With the green high value tasks and the red low energy, low value ones.
No, I probably have to read that.
Yeah, Sharma's all over it.
Okay.
So it's basically saying is if you map out your whole week in 15-minute slots, whatever is in a red means it sucks the energy from you and doesn't generate any money. That's what you'd hire someone to do. And on the flip side, the green with a dollar sign next to it is things like this, right? Ones that you enjoy and also do have potential to make a lot of money for the business. And the name of the game is more green, high value tasks and get rid of all the
less of the red stuff.
That
Interesting.
just sucks you dry.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm working on. I need to read that book then.
Yeah.
I like Dan. He's a fucking smart guy. He's a smart guy.
Yeah, he's good. Mate, one thing I'm keen to dig into, you talk a lot about change and growth, and something that must have done that to you, Necker Island with old Richie Branson.
Yeah. Fucking old Dickie Branson.
Old Dickie Branson.
Yeah, so it was a cool experience. It was probably underwhelming, to be honest, which sounds fucking depressing.
I said that about Vegas before we got on the show.
I know. It's because build up. I have this thing in my head where I build up these events. I'm like, fuck yeah, gonna go see. You know, that was probably the first time that I'd like been personally exposed to a billionaire. So I was probably expecting like it's got to be next level. You know.
Yeah.
The reality is he's just a normal fucking guy, and he didn't care about Jack Henderson. I can assure you. You know, so he's at the stage of his life now. He might not say the same thing, but this was my perception. How old is he? Like 70 or 80 or some shit?
70s, I think.
He's old, right? He's in the old, back end of his life. Business probably isn't as exciting to him as it once was. He's fucking, he's been putting out fires for 60 years now. So, on the island, what was happening at the time? It was like the Russia-Ukraine war was just sort of kicking off, and like that's what he cared about. He was really interested in politics and fucking. Like world events, and all I cared about was like, how the fuck do you grow a $1 billion business, big dog? Come on, spill your beans. And he didn't really talk about that stuff all that much, and I'm not interested in that other shit. Yeah. So it's probably just a misalignment of like the stage of life that he's at versus where I was at, and it wasn't that interesting. But there was a lot of people there who were older than me, had much bigger businesses than me, and probably got a lot more value out of that. The most value I got out of like being on Branson's Island was the other people that were there. That was the most interesting thing. But it was cool. It's a fucking mad island, I can assure you. It's sick. Yeah. Sick place to live. Like, it would be so awesome to live there. And like constantly having people come to you as well. Like, that'd be super secluded if you were on an island by yourself. But like, he's running the island essentially like a hotel, and he's just got constantly people coming to him. So it'd be really cool. But unfortunately not a huge amount of business insights from him himself.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is a little bit of a letdown. I know. Fuck, I see your boy's disappointed. I thought you want to get some juice out of me. Huh?
Well, for a friend of ours, Ryan Tuckwood, he went on Necker Island, I think it was last year.
Right.
The most recent one. And he said that he came off the island kind of a different man in the sense of the way he looked at his business.
Right.
He was like, for him, it just changed everything. And he got back to the office and just sat there on his own for 3 days and was like, I've got to rip this business apart and completely restructure it. It sounds like it didn't quite have that effect on you, mate.
I didn't have that. No, I didn't get that. I got a lot of really cool connections from it. A lot of, people from around the world were there that, I never would have met. That opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. That was really where I first started learning about AI. Thanks to a guy called Vlad. He was from the Ukraine actually, and he was like building this incredible AI business, just exited out of a business for 100 million US, and I learned a lot of shit about AI to begin with, and I didn't even know it was a fucking thing before I went there. Yeah, but there wasn't like huge insights from someone like that. And I've had that a lot. Like, I'm a part of Alex Hormozy's mastermind now, and it's sort of the same thing. Like the exposure to the people is cool, and being around them is cool, but like you're going to hear the best value from them, from my point of view, from their podcasts, from their fucking books. Like that's where you're going to get the most from them. Like sitting in a room, all you're going to hear is the same shit they say over and over and over again. But the cool thing about doing those things is it makes you focus on like your business itself, as opposed to like being in the weeds every single day, because you've ripped yourself out of your business. You're in a new environment now where you're around, sort of other business leaders, and that's the biggest value, because you change the way you think. Where when you're in your business every day and you are chaotic, it's
fires,
you're not really thinking about like inspiring shit. So, not huge breakthroughs, but cool experience nonetheless.
I'm down for Dickie B.
Oh, fucking Dickie B.
I'm down for Dickie.
Give him a 6 out of 10.
That's a
6 out of 10.
That's a 3-second clip there.
Yeah, fuck. No, nothing good. Sorry, unfortunately.
Yeah, the way we obviously stumbled across you is through personal branding and content.
Yeah.
Right. How important has that been for the growth of your own personal brand, but also for the business over the last 2-3 years, ever since you really turned up the...
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Two Blokes, One Business podcast.
Now, apart from being world-class podcasters, we also run a recruitment agency called Harwell.
If you're keen to learn a little bit more about what we do, then head over to our Instagram at Harwell Group and check us out.
Back to the app.
It's been key. It's been key. The reality is the only difference between me and my business and some other punter and their business in the same sector is me. You know, like we all do similar shit. You know, we all charge similar prices. All that stuff is like relatively similar. And it's the same in every sector. You have your USPs and you have your slightly different strategies and all the rest of it. But like lo and behold, they're similar businesses. The only thing that separates is brand, right? Like any difference between fucking Nike and I don't know, what's another shit shoe brand? Is like they're made out of same materials. Like the designs are slightly different, but it's the brand. So personal branding now is like the biggest driver, and it's the thing that as it compounds more separates you further and further and further. So you can charge higher prices. So you can do things that normal businesses wouldn't be able to do. But it's constant work, you know, like it's like we produce a fuckload of content. And it's a lot of work, but it's been super rewarding. But it was my first hire in business was a videographer when I was like back in 2019, 2020. Oh, wow. It was my first ever hire before I even had Henderson, before I was working inside of the other buyers agency. Yeah, Sam, who still works for us now.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I had content from day one, and it was very different to the content I have now. But doing it for that long, you know, has allowed you to compound an audience. You then start to have a few pieces go viral, and you start to work out. That's another thing I work out. It's like the shit that I talk about, how I talk about it. Like, you know, we spoke about finding yourself before. Like, doing content is a good way to do that, right? Because you're fucking getting so much feedback from people on a day-to-day basis. And then you sort of question like, oh, do I really have that belief? Or did I just say that because I thought I would get clicks? And, you know, that's the interesting thing. But fuck, man, it's the amount of business it generates, and like, it's wild.
Some of the stuff you put out there then, is it more strategical, going, hey, I'm going to film this video in this way because I think it's going to go viral and it will put more leads through the door?
The context in which it's filmed is strategic. The stuff that I talk about, I genuinely believe. You know, like we spoke about the shitholes videos, like I would never buy in those fucking places. That's genuine. But if I just said, hey guys, this is why I'd never buy in this location versus this is a fucking shithole and you shouldn't invest there, one's going to get a few more views than the other. You know, and like the messaging, like you can say the same thing but craft it in a different way. Like that's essentially what marketing is, right? And you can get very, very different results, which, you know, the unfortunate reality is negative hooks and negative sentiment generally does better online, which, you know, that's why all these clickbait fucking websites do so well, right? Because like all of their headlines are so fucking negative, which gets people intrigued. So you have to sort of play on that with content.
Do you find it attracts clients that are more aligned to you and your brand? Because that's one thing that we did early on with Harwell. We started doing videos like Video My Job, and in the recruitment world where it's dominated by old school agencies, there are probably a lot of people going, what the fuck are these two English idiots doing? But it just attracted clients and candidates that actually we aligned with, and the ones that probably didn't want to work with us, we probably look at their companies and go, fuck, we don't want to work with you anyway. So it's been a blessing in disguise for us. I'm sure with content as ballsy as yours.
Like you attract more of people like you, and less like you push away the people who are not your client and were never going to be your client in the first place. But I think people get scared about that, right? They're like, oh, you don't want to say that because you might offend people that would have used your services. And they're like, they were never going to fucking use your services. Or like, even if you do push some people away that were like sitting on the fence, you're going to attract way more people who are like all in, which is what we find now. It's like, you know, people are aligned with the way we think and the strategies that we use and the way we talk and all the rest of it. And again, it's like the separation from our company versus another company. It's like, if you put them side by side and you look through the actual businesses themselves, it's not all that much different. It'd be the same in recruitment, right? You can only do recruitment a certain way. But people resonate with you guys as individuals, and it's the same as us.
Was there a period of time over the last 4 or 5 years where you thought, fuck, we built something here and the brand really took off? Or was there a certain video or a certain moment?
Yes and no. It happened slowly, you know, like I didn't go like we've got, I don't fucking know, maybe like 300,000 or 400,000 followers across the social channels now, which is a lot for fucking idiots who talk about property, right? I just say the same shit every single day, a different way. But we started at like, I think I had less than 1,000 when I started producing content, and then it like goes to 5, and then you're like, fuck, I can't wait to get to 10K. You have that K next to your fucking thing. You know, and then you get to 10,000, and then you want to get to 50 and 50 to 100, and like that happens so slowly that you don't really all of a sudden notice that it's, you know, blown the business up. But like you look at it now and you're like, fuck, the amount of business we generate, the amount of exposure we get in PR just because of how much reach our content gets. And like the average views for like, I think my personal Instagram over the last 30 days, like 11 million views.
Fuck, wow.
Fucking crazy. You know, like 11 million fuckers in Australia have seen my mug.
and 2% of them live in Townsville and are fucking raging at you.
They're like, fuck this guy. And I get recognised in public fucking constantly now. And like, I've never had someone, fucking, you never know, I could leave here and someone could punch me in the face. But I've never had someone ever come up to me like, you're a fuckwit. It's always so positive. Everyone's like, oh, I love your stuff. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. That's cool. But yeah, it's fucking wild now. Like to be able to do a video and like a shit video now gets like 20 or 30,000 organic views and a good video gets fucking 500,000 to 1 million views.
Which 5 years ago, the dream was 20,000, right?
Yeah, man. Like, fuck, if I cracked 10K on a video where it went from just having the video views to then having the K next to it, I was like, fuck yeah, I've made it.
Is it living?
Yeah, we're not quite there yet, mate. We're trying and I'm impatient as fuck.
Yeah, it doesn't, it just takes time. Like, that's just volume and consistency. And then, like, you know, we spend a lot of money on ads now as well, which obviously helps you grow organically.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just fucking compounding. And the good thing is when you get on the journey, like for people who haven't started yet and they keep delaying it and putting it off, you're just getting further and further and further ahead. Yeah.
What would you say to someone then like that sat on a business idea now or they've just launched their business when we're looking at content? Because the first person you hired was a videographer.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to have 50 followers to start with. How do you get there?
Yeah, well, I mean, fuck, I just had someone film what I was doing every single day. So like 90% of the day was fucking useless. And like we chopped some up to go. We used to do a weekly vlog. And then, you know, you'd say 2 or 3 or 4 30 or 60 second clips and they'd get clipped in and off they'd go onto Instagram and TikTok. And then just filming like or content that's filmed on the platforms always does better. So if I do a TikTok where I just talk to my phone, it always does better than a post-produced fucking piece of content that's been done by my team. So, but you can't constantly be shooting content, right? Like I've got a friend, I don't know, you might have seen him, Jahan Kalanta, he's a lawyer.
No.
Yeah, he's got, I don't know, 400,000 or 500,000 followers. And he just talks about like fucking different events that's happening in Australia and fucking, you know, music festivals coming up. If you're taking pills into the festival, watch out. You know, all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
But he does every fucking video on his thing. And mate, he's like average views per post would be like, I don't know, 150,000 or something. Another client of ours, Tracy Chen, have you seen her before? Immigration lawyer. Surely the fuck you would have seen him immigrating.
But it's her face, but
yeah, she always talks about like, you know, the new fucking immigration law. Same thing, man. She doesn't have a fucking content team. She just films everything on a phone. And it's like the most basic content. Like this is what the new 27 visa means for you. Bang.
Yeah. Done.
You know?
And it's just reps. Doing
just reps every fucking
reps.
day in, day out. And then eventually you do like a video that works. And like my general manager, Gianni, he's got this little side project, which is it's essentially like helping kids coming out of school work out what they want to do in life. Give or take, it's something like that. But he's been going around in Pitt Street in Sydney, like interviewing just randoms off the street, like, hey, you want to fucking talk about your career or something? Dude, like videos are getting like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. One pops off the other day, it's got like 750,000 views now. And it's just like, it was like he interviewed this Nepali kid who obviously had a really fucking unique story from Nepal, fucking blah, blah, blah. And it popped off. And now he's like, fuck yeah, that works. So now like he's got some idea of like what sort of content works well. So the next time he goes to find someone, he'll try and find someone who's like, you know, maybe Indian or someone who's got a really unique story that's not like, oh, fucking went to university, grew up in Australia. Like someone and now that's the sort of content that will start to do well and you start to get a bit of a theme.
Are you pretty big on the data and analytics, I guess, in content, but also across the business? Is that how you run everything, or is a lot of gut feel, instinct?
Gianni, my general manager, is way more like data analytics, KPIs, and managing the team. I am to an extent, but I just know the things that move the needle. Yeah. I'm not. I'm a very, what's the opposite of a detail orientated person? I'm that. I'm like not detail orientated whatsoever.
Yeah. Go by feel. I love what you said, mate, about the content and finding some of that works and then just doing that. Because I say it to our guys, we're pumping all sorts of different types of posts on LinkedIn. We're trying carousel, short form, long form. And I think Alana, one of our talent managers, is just sourcing candidates around the Goldie in accounting and finance and ecom. She did a real simple post based at job seekers and it hit like fucking 200,000 impressions. So I said to the guys, I was like, get her post, copy and paste it, put it into ChatGPT, give me a few variations of this, and just repost it.
That's right.
Because that's
do more of what's working and do it better. That's Alex Hormozy's whole thing. It's like, don't try and do new. Just like find something that fucking works and like bash it to death. And like often we can bash things to death way longer than what we think we can, you know? And with content, it's no different. Like find a theme that works. It's easy to replicate and just continue to do it. Like you guys said you're going to have Jarks on there. Frank, he's a good mate of mine. He's on our advisory board. He does the day in the life of $180 million founder. Have you seen those videos?
Yeah.
Dude, I reckon he's done that fucking video 100 times.
Do you see the piss take one they did the other day?
That's what he's doing. Like the piss takes now. It's like, he does a shit in the toilet and they blow up, right? Like that's a content theme that works. So he's just fucking rinsing it.
Smashing it.
While he then tests some other stuff, but he's rinsing the stuff that already works. So, and it's like anything in business. It's like, for us, the number one way to get fucking sales is to pump ads and then call those motherfuckers until they tell you to fuck off. That's what it is. Right? It's like the most simple thing. It's like get a lead and call it to death.
Yeah.
But people are like, oh no, let's get an AI fucking this and let's do that. And it's like that simple shit works. It's like generate a lead, call that lead and sell that thing. That's it.
What's your view on all that? Because I've seen so many recruitment like owners popping up and they're now using AI fucking bots to do outbound sales calls, which fucking makes me sick to the stomach.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's coming regardless of whether we like it. Like we've got a full-time AI guy, he's an implementer inside of our business that's just constantly testing and trialing new things. We've trialed the outbound AI callers. We still run some of them. They're not as good as humans at the moment, nowhere near it. But they're good for grunt work. Maybe they're good for lower ticket products. We sell a high ticket service. But man, it's going to change the fucking world. I know that for a fact. So yeah, I think the reason we're testing constantly is so we're at the forefront of what's working, what's not working. And when we find something, you've got sort of that early mover advantage.
What have you seen has been the biggest impact so far?
To be honest, there's nothing that's like revolutionary. There's constantly new stuff happening, right? Like, do you see if you saw that new thing with Gemini the other day with Geo doing the videos? Have you seen that?
Or something.
Yeah, have you seen that?
Yeah, kind
like that's crazy. That's fucking wild. But like, we're thinking about using that now to create ads. Like instead of fucking me having to come up with that ideas, film ads and stuff, you just like talk to this fucking thing and hopefully it can create ads. But it's still too early to be able to do that at scale because I think you can only do 30 seconds or something like that.
Okay.
Obviously ChatGPT, same thing. It's like made everything easier. A lot of people are searching through it now. Like the content idea, it's like, hey, give me 10 more of these things.
Yeah.
But is that like revolutionary? No, it just makes things easier and more efficient. But it won't be long. And I mean, inside of the big organizations now, like it's like engineering, for example, I'm constantly seeing engineering that's no longer, they're not hiring and they're firing. And that's going to continue to happen in other sectors, which is unfortunate, but it's the world, right?
They're only as good as how you use them, right? And I think I said this on a previous podcast episode. ChatGPT, you can tell the bang average recruiters that are using it to a bang average level of capacity, right? Because it's just the same cliche bullshit that's out there. And then you can tell the people that are using it to a very, very high level. And that's the way I see it going. It's going to, if you're not using it, you're falling behind. It's going to create efficiencies, automations, but it's still to the level of which people use it.
It's like anything, right? Like everything is as good as the implementer and the people doing it. So it's going to be interesting though to see how the world goes. Like fuck, people think we've got problems in Australia now. You wait until 20% fucking unemployment happens. That's not going to be great.
Not for us anyway, man.
Fuck, not for everyone, right? Like it's fucking not ideal, but that's coming. That's fucking coming. Like if people don't think it's going to take their jobs, they got their fucking head in the sand.
Mention the advisory board. It's a really interesting concept. We're not probably not there yet. We've probably got an unofficial people we go to for certain bits and pieces. But Ben's on it. Obviously, you said Frank's on it as well. Who else is involved in that?
Another guy, Todd Brown, who was like the biggest property developer in Adelaide, and he's massive in Brizzy. Twan, who has Australia's largest depreciation schedule company. They do fucking like 80,000 reports a year or some shit. Benny, Frank Grief, Gianni, my GM, myself, and then we've still got a spot that rotates every advisory board that we get someone new in.
So what's the biggest impact of having the advisory board, and why did you set up in the first place?
The biggest impact is that they have done lots more than what I have. So like I go to them with like, hey, this is the fucking shit we're doing right now. And then they go, hey, these are all the things you should think about. This is my experience when I've done this. This is blah, 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 blah. So to give you context, I'll give you a live example. We're going very hard into the property management space at the moment, acquiring property management businesses. And my first acquisition was going to be like an $18 million business, just under 4,000 managements. That was the first one I was going to do. And I went to the board. I'm like, sweet, we got this deal. DD started at the moment. Fuck, it's going to be a game changer. And they're like, I reckon you probably should do a little or a small acquisition first, learn the model, how the acquisitions work, the things that go right, the things that go wrong, and then start to do some big ones. And I'm like, that sounds fucking shit, but I'll take your advice, you know? You always want to just go hard. And, we've done that. We've got 2 small ones now on the go. And mate, I've learnt so much from them that I'm so glad that I fucking did learn on like a $15 to $20 million deal.
Yeah.
So those kind of things where it's like, it seems obvious, but when you're in it, you're not thinking about it. So they were the ones who said, go and do this. And then Frank was the one who said, go hire someone full-time AI inside of the business. Like, don't look at it as a profit division. It's like, just look at it to learn. There's so many things that come off the back of those. And then, we meet once every 2 months, so 6 times a year. And then you've also got accountability because it's like, you've got these people on your board who are all there for free. They're giving up their time. You don't want to go back in 2 months' time and go, hey guys, I didn't do anything that you told me to do or advised me to do. Like, it's a bit of an insult. Yeah. So there's the gems that come out of it, like the challenging of my thinking, and then also the accountability piece.
In your head, is it the board, whatever the board decide, we always go with that kind of majority, or are there some things that you push back?
So they challenged me, like one of the first meetings that we had, they challenged me on whether I needed to have the building company because building's very high risk game, it's low margin game. And they were like, surely you can get the same outcome from a financial point of view without any of the liability and risk. And I didn't follow that advice because I have a different belief and a different mindset around why I've got the building part of the company and long-term what that will mean for our organization. So that was one thing that they said, maybe you shouldn't have that part of the business. And I disagreed with them on that. So it's like the difference between a formal board and an advisory board is a formal board have an input as to what you do. An advisory board does not. But it's still then, even with that, like they challenged me on that and I still went away and thought, what am I missing here? But the more I, processed it, the more I realized that, it was the thing that I wanted to do. And then on the other side, when I was like, let's go all in and fucking, do this big acquisition and, get all the media off the back of it and fucking hit the ground running. They're like, maybe you should do a few small ones first before you do the big one because you're going to learn a lot, you know?
Yeah. Do you reckon that big one would have gone tits up if you'd have gone
through?
Still
going, but like those big deals take time. So that'll be a 9-month deal. But we're going to have 9 months worth of learnings on these other transactions. And I've learned a fuckload from them already, which I'm so glad I didn't go and do the big one straight away.
So in full Jack Henderson style, you've gone, I'm still going to do the big one. I'm just going to do a few extra small ones before that.
First, of course. You got to move fast, man, in this world. Like, that's the reality. The longer you sit around and like think about things or like delay things, the opportunity I see in that space could slowly start to evaporate, and I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
The building company so far, in terms of what you've achieved with that, was it the right decision or the wrong decision?
Yeah. The building company's fucking
flying.
Yeah, and it makes our business so unique. Like no one, like what we've done in fucking less than 2 years is fucking crazy. Like to have a building company that only services our clients and to have it operational like it is across now New South Wales and Queensland, it's cool. And it makes our business so much more unique than anyone else's. Because everyone can say they got builders and we can get quotes and we've got trades, but the reality is that they're just fucking another client to a builder. We're like our building organization is merged with our advocacy business. We do things like on a repeatable basis. We know what things cost. We know how long things take. We know what approval processes are. It's super powerful. And that'll form a big part of what the business ends up becoming down the track. Yeah.
Mate, we touched on this a little bit earlier on in the episode, and I'm doing my marathon training, so I'm absolutely dying to ask you. But it's going well. It's tough with a newborn at the moment with no sleep. But you absolute wrongin'. You did a 200-mile ultra marathon.
Yeah.
Why the fuck did you do that?
Mate, like I said before, you got to fucking put that energy into something, right? It's like you got to work, and if you're not working, it's very easy to go, I can dabble in some stuff over here and over there, which is generally not good. So when you have big like things like that, not only does it build self-confidence, like to do something like that and accomplish it, like you have a different level of self-belief. And I've done lots of shit like that, like lots of really 100-mile runs, 100K, fucking back-to-back runs, just lots of different like physical challenges that, before doing it, I was like, fuck, not a chance I can do this. And it just builds this level of self-belief and self-awareness that, it's, I mean, you lose it just as fast as you gain it, but like the fucking, it's crazy what comes off the back of it. And that was just listen to David Goggins like you guys probably have done in the past. For many years. I just did what he said. It's like he talks about the cookie jar, right? The more stuff that you do, you put into that cookie jar. And when you feel like a little bitch or, you're doubting yourself on things, you just fucking dig into that cookie jar and remind yourself of the shit that you've done. So that's why I did it. And also it's fucking, it's cool. We're talking about it now. It's a talking topic.
You go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what does the training look like for that?
Just fucking lots and lots and lots of running. Yeah.
Like, it's simple as that.
It's just volume, man. It's like everything, right? Like the more volume you do and consistent, like you couldn't go and fucking run a 200-mile run off the back of a marathon training camp, unless you're like a natural athlete. But I've been running now for like 4 years, started with the half marathons, then the marathons, then the fucking 60Ks, then the 100Ks, then the 100 miles. It's just that natural progression. And the next year I'm going to go do the Arizona Monster, which is a 300-mile run in the US.
What were some of the whispers as you're going for a 200
miles?
They're
not whispers, bro. They're not whispers. They're not whispers. They're like, you are a fucking piece of shit.
You should have just got on the set, Shaq. You should have.
At what point out of 200 miles did they start?
It was the hardest in the early stages of the run. Yeah. Because like, you're not even halfway, bro, and you've been running for a day and a half.
Do you sleep on that, or is you just like raw dog
20-minute naps, 20-minute naps here and there, yeah. Like some of the guys, like I come fifth in that run. The winner probably had fucking, I don't know, less than 2 hours sleep over 3 days. So it's pretty intense.
That's
fucking
cool.
And like, it's not, you're not running on road. It's like, there was 8,500 meters of elevation, vertical elevation. So it's fucking hectic.
Would you say you're a different bloke now than when you started that race?
Yeah, no, I think I'm the same person, but you just have like, that's the self-belief thing, man. I reckon that's the biggest part of life. Like when you have a level of confidence because of your past experiences, you make different decisions and like you take bigger risks or what seems to other people like bigger risks, just simply because of what you've got on the inside. But that needs to be built over time. So that's what is different. It's like, not if I didn't complete that or I said I was going to do it and I didn't do it, that then has a negative impact because you're like, oh, I said I was going to do this thing and I didn't do it. You're a coward, And that's how I talk to myself.
Yeah, it's trusting the process on something like that. And there's so many parallels of that to business. Like, for context, I was a fat goalkeeper, right? Just 2 years ago, I could barely plod 5K in 30 minutes.
Right.
And now I'm going to go and run a marathon. Hopefully, I'm going to run it under sub 4.
Yeah.
And it's just...
You will. You're doing the Goldie Mara?
Yeah.
Goldie,
Yeah. So it's nice and flat. So it's a cheat code. But it's just doing the reps along 2 years. Like you say, doing that training for the 10K, then the half, then the marathon. And it's just
then not stopping when you get to a marathon. That's the issue. Is people go, I've done a marathon now. And then they're like, oh, okay. They get lost again. That's the issue. It's like the constant, that's what Goggins talks about, right? It's like everyone can say they were the guy that did this thing or the girl that did this thing, but it's like if you've only done that thing and you did it 10 years ago, you're a has-been. It's like that constant fucking chasing. It never ends. It's that relentless pursuit, which is the cool thing, right? Like, that's why I want to go do this 300-mile run now because I'm like, what am I going to do next? I've done the 200. That's the biggest run you can do in Australia, 205 miles. So the Coast to Cossie's 240Ks. I'll probably do that at the end of the year, but
there's quite a rigorous qualifying process for that, isn't there?
Yeah, well, you've got to get picked. So I'll do it if I get picked, but doing that run, and then I did a 100-mile, not too long before that, and I did that back to back with the 100K in the Blue Mountains. So
yeah, that's the fun part of it is the pursuit. My missus hates it. Yeah, she's like, obviously got 2 kids at home, and she's like, what are you going to do next? I'm like, well, there is a 100K ultra in October, and she's like, do you think we could just relax? I was like, all right, I'll just do a half and just try and blitz it in like an hour and a half.
Yeah, so I just think it's so important. It's same as business, right? It's like you can't just get to a revenue number and be like,
done,
I'm sweet. Because as soon as you get to that number, even though you might stay at that number for a little while, you're not staying still. You're going backwards because the future upside, someone else has slowly taken that, and when they take all the future upside, they then start to take your business too. So I'm like really big in that fucking never stopping thing. Like whether it be social media or personal achievement or fucking business, like you've always got to chase the demons.
So you haven't got a finish line in mind with the running or even business, but what's driving you on at the moment?
It's that constant pursuit of like, fuck yeah, how far can I get?
Yeah.
What am I going to do this year? And then how do I fucking do a little bit more next year and then a little bit more the year after? I have no desire. Like a lot of my friends have exited businesses and they're fucking, got some cash in the bank and it's all really cool. I don't have any desire to do that. I love this. I love this compounding thing that, you know, the seventh wonder of the world is like you look at the biggest businesses in the world and in Australia, people like Gina Reinhardt and fucking Triggerboff and, you know, Jack Cowan and all these guys who are like 80, 90 years old and they've been in business for like 60 years, 70 years, the same business, not like sold one and then started a new one. Like they just get this compounding that is like, if you sell a business after 20 years, you start from zero again, right? You might have the experience, but you're still starting from zero. But imagine if you kept that business that you sold after 20 years for 60 years or 70 years, like how big it could have gotten. So that's what excites me is like, fuck, I'm 28 now, turning 29. Imagine what it looks like when I'm 60 or 65.
Yeah. I work with a founder on the Gold Coast here. He founded an e-commerce business, super impressive, like nailed the states and everything.
Yeah.
I said to him one day, I was like, mate, have you ever thought about selling? He's like, yeah, I had a valuation, 200 mil. He's like, but if I sold the business, I'd want to be the CEO and be here every single day. He's like, so why don't I just keep doing that?
Yeah.
And my business value is only going to grow, bar a fucking whatever happens in the economy.
Yeah.
And I make 50 million net profit every single year. He's like, I'll probably just keep doing that for now. And I was just like, yeah, fair enough. I'll chill out.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not into exiting, and that could change in the future, right? Like we spoke before about like a belief that I had in the past that I might not have now. Like that's my belief right now. It was like, fuck, how cool would it be in 50 years' time to still be running the same business and going, fuck yeah, you know, this year we did X amount of billion. Like that's the cool thing to me. So that's where my head's at. It's just that constant 1%, 1%.
What about sacrifice? Like obviously you're running ridiculous amounts, you're working a lot as well. There's things in life you'd be sacrificing for the level of performance and success you've got in life. Do you see those as a negative or is the upside?
I don't want to know what I would be sacrificing. Like I never really understand that when people say it. It's like all the sacrifice. I'm like, what the fuck are you sacrificing? You know, it's like,
6-figure nights in Europe. Maybe just do it all, can't you?
No, but like it's like I don't know what people mean by sacrifice because it's like if you weren't doing that thing, what else would you be doing?
I think it's the trade-off, right? And the level, like for me, I've sacrificed that freedom, that social aspect of life, you know, going out and getting pissed up with the lads on the weekend.
Yeah.
But this gives me way more energy, fulfillment and happiness and passion than what that ever did.
Yeah.
So people perhaps look at it as a sacrifice, but is it really a sacrifice? If
I just think everyone has choices, right? It's like every single choice has the alternate choice to whatever you end up deciding to do. So it's like, fuck, you just got to make the decision and do that thing, right? I mean, I'm not sacrificing anything right now. Like I'm doing what I want to do. And if I didn't want to do it, I wouldn't do it. So like, I don't think there's more stress than I probably would have if I was a fucking punter. But if I was a punter, I'd be stressing about fucking money. Not being fucking who I am now. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the trade-off.
Choose your hard.
Yeah, that's right.
You love that one, hey?
Yeah. So yeah, I don't feel like I sacrifice anything. I mean, I've got a fucking cool life. I do whatever the fuck I want. It comes with its own stresses and issues, but I wouldn't not do this for whatever the alternative is.
Yeah, it's such a good lesson for anyone that might be listening to this that is kind of just starting out on that journey or in a corporate role that they fucking hate and they're like, I need to do this business
like
idea.
If you hate something, that's sacrifice. It's like you're doing something you hate. Like, what the fuck would you sacrifice your life for that fucking shit?
Yeah.
So if you do what you want to do every single day, then yeah, there is no real sacrifice.
One post that kind of ties into that and a good lesson for anyone that is starting out in entrepreneurship, and you kept it pretty brief. So I think I'd love you to elaborate. Everyone wants fuck off money, but no one wants to get told to fuck off.
That's right. That's right.
That's a classic.
Well, you're never going to have fuck off money if you're not, you know, you're not being willing to tell to be fuck off or told to be fuck, you know what I'm trying to say. Well, I mean, like one of the biggest things that hold most people back is the judgment of others. You know, they're scared to say what they think or what they believe because of what someone else might say, think, or believe. And that means that if you're not willing to be that person, then it's highly unlikely that you're going to get to a position of fuck off money, right? Because if you're a pleaser and you're everyone's favorite, you're not going to get anywhere. You know, look at Elon Musk. It's the fucking most prime example of that in the world. Doing some of the world's best work, whether you like him or dislike him. Tell me some other cunt who's fucking taken us to Mars and fucking, you know, done electric cars and all the rest of it. Sure, he's making money. There's no doubt about it. He's a super profitable business, but he's still fucking doing shit that, you know, all these whingers are not doing.
Yeah.
But he does shit and he's constantly hammered. constantly in the media, like globally, you know, like I get hammered by 20 people and people are like, fuck, how do you deal with it? This motherfucker gets hammered by millions of people every single day. And like, you know, but at every single level that gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It comes with the territory. So if you're not willing to get told to fuck off, then you're never going to have the money that, you know, you want to have. And everyone, I guess, will get to the level that they're comfortable with. But for me, like, I want to be next to my name. So I'm probably going to get told to fuck off by a lot of people.
If you were to start a business today, whether it's another buyer's agency or anything else for anyone else listening, where would you spend your attention? Where would be some of the really core key functions of the business that you double
Just
down
sales
on?
and marketing. That's it. Yeah. What does Hormozy talks about having, you know, one thing that you sell, so one key product, one key avatar, and fucking doing that and that only until you hit $1 million in revenue. And then that's going to be slightly different for every business, right? $1 million of service-based revenue is very different to $1 million in you know, product-based revenue. But yeah, like don't do anything else other than sales and marketing, because if you haven't got that much revenue, then fuck 'em, what are you doing? You know, like you don't need to worry about doing all this other shit. Businesses, I mean, most shit is really simple. We just overcomplicate it. You know, like that's why most people have a fucking shit life. It's because they try and overcomplicate everything. They try and like talk themselves out of doing everything or think there's a hack or a shortcut. It's like, there's none of that. Like that does not exist in life. And if it did, everyone would be fucking happy and rich and doing whatever they want. And they're not, you know? So like the hack is do the work every day, nonstop for a long time. And maybe you'll get the rewards. Like that's the hack, you know? So in business is no different. It's like the number one way to grow your business is to tell lots of people about what you do, lots of people about the success stories that you had, and fucking call them and sell them. And then ideally service them well as well so they come back and buy more from you. Like that's really all there is to it. Not much good doing drop shipping and then fucking doing a course over here and then fucking buying crypto. And like tell me one of those people who's made anything. None of those cunts are on the rich list, I can assure you. You know?
Yeah. There you go, mate.
Mic drop.
There you go. Yeah. No, mate, I think we've covered so much. And like this podcast, we try and take as many lessons away as possible for us, but as well for people that are kind of 2 years ago where we were in that corporate job. And I think your story and the lessons and the way you articulate it should be inspiring a lot of people.
Thank you.
So, mate, I do appreciate your time.
Appreciate the lads. That was good. Thanks for coming. I just realised I was like, fuck, my language was pretty atrocious on there, but shit happens, right?
It is what it is. That's what we'll get told to fuck off for anyway.
That's right. Appreciate it, boys.
Thanks for coming on, man.